You are preparing a syllabus and need one more reading on a specific niche topic. You ask your AI assistant. It outputs a flawless, perfectly formatted APA citation. Author, year, journal, DLI. It has everything. You drop it straight into your document. A week later, a student tries to look it up. The paper does not exist. The author never wrote it. The journal is real, but that specific issue is entirely fabricated. Large language models do not retrieve stored facts from a database. They predict statistically plausible text based on patterns in their training data. Because of this predictive mechanism, a fabricated scholarly citation is generated the exact same way as a real one. The model simply calculates the words that should mathematically follow your prompt. The hallucination and the verified truth are delivered in the exact same fluent, authoritative voice. The AI has no internal flag. It possesses no self-awareness to warn you, or itself, that it has drifted from factual reality into statistical fiction. This creates a dangerous paradox. Because the AI is optimized to predict what looks correct, evaluating its output after it has been generated is an inherently flawed strategy for academics. The standard professional workflow for using AI goes like this. You write a prompt, you read the output, and you judge if it sounds right. That human heuristic, asking, "Does this sound right?" is the exact cognitive vulnerability hallucinations exploit. The AI mathematically maps to your plausibility filters. It bypasses your logic filters by perfectly mimicking the structure of a correct answer. Reading a fluent response creates a priming effect. The model's confident academic tone makes the claims feel right on first glance, meaning your critical faculties have to work much harder to stay objective once the text is on the screen. If you rely on this post hoc evaluation, fabricated data will inevitably propagate. A fake statistic ends up in your lecture slides. A non-existent institutional policy gets emailed to a student. A hallucinated effect size compromises a departmental report. To maintain professional integrity while using these tools, you must invert your workflow. You must decide your trust standard before the AI generates its response, rather than trying to verify the claims after they have been presented convincingly. AI failures in education are not random. They manifest in specific, recognizable patterns. Knowing how the model fails tells you how to respond. This graphic isolates the 3 distinct signatures of AI failure that every educator must recognize. The first is hallucination. This is a confident, fluent fabrication. It is a clean, plausible-sounding fact that does not exist, like a fake DOI or a non-existent study claiming a specific teaching method boosts grades. The second is knowledge cutoff. Here, the AI acts with confident anachronism. It bridges a gap in its frozen training data by feeding you outdated institutional accreditation standards or research that has been superseded by newer work. The third is subtle error. The overall structure of the output is completely correct, but specific variables are quietly altered. A date in a historical timeline is off by 1 year. The effect size in a statistical result is wrong, while the narrative interpretation is accurate. Subtle error punishes false confidence. It slides past your review unless you already know the specific answer. And if you already know the answer, you shouldn't be asking the AI. Because these errors range from blatantly obvious to practically invisible, reacting to them after the fact is impossible. You need a proactive defense architecture. This is the trust ladder. It is a conceptual firewall designed to categorize the structural nature of your task before you hit send. In the high-trust, green tier, you are dealing with pattern tasks, rewriting, structuring an outline, or having the AI summarize content you provided.
The model operates safely here. Skimming the result is sufficient. The medium trust, yellow tier, covers general recall of well-known information, like defining Bloom's taxonomy. The answer is usually correct, but you cannot blindly quote it. You must spot-check the specific claims. The low trust, red tier, includes specific factual recall, niche pedagogical methods, and current events. When asking a red tier question, your baseline assumption must be that the model is wrong. This latter functions as a cognitive tool, intentionally raising your skepticism before the AI's fluent tone can bypass your professional judgment. By mapping your prompt to the latter, you explicitly define how dangerous the upcoming answer will be. That structural reality dictates your very next move. Even with pre-computed trust, you will encounter dangerous, plausible outputs that require diagnostic scrutiny. These 8 warning cards outline the telltale signs of a fabrication. Beware of suspiciously specific statistics. If you see a claim that 73% of students improved using a certain method, but the AI provides no link to the actual study, it is almost certainly manufacturing a plausible feeling number. Watch out for the perfect match. Real academic research is messy. If a cited paper title mirrors your exact prompt and provides exactly the result you were hoping for, the model is likely giving you what it predicted you wanted, not what is true. Look for the confidence trick. If a model sounds equally confident explaining a foundational theory as it does detailing an obscure pedagogical method developed last year, that confidence is manufactured. If pushed on a suspicious fact, the AI will often elaborate on its own fabrications. More detail is not more truth. It is simply building a larger house of cards using the same flawed statistical pattern. No single red flag is definitive proof of failure, but together they form a critical smell test. When an output fails this test, you must deploy formal verification protocols. When your prompt lands in the yellow or red zones, verification is mandatory. This chart defines 4 techniques. Protocol 1, ask for specific sources. Verification happens by clicking those links and confirming the source exists and supports the claim. Protocol 2 is the multi-model cross-check. You take the exact same factual question and ask different AI architectures, like Claude and Gemini. Comparing the outputs rapidly exposes fabricated consensus. Protocol 3 involves enabling live web search for time-sensitive queries. This shifts the model's foundation from its frozen training memory to current reality, anchoring its summary in retrieved contemporary web pages. Protocol 4 is for high-stakes institutional facts, like a citation you will assign or a grant application statistic. You go to the actual document and force the AI to anchor exclusively to that text, treating it as an assistant rather than an authority. The intensity of your verification effort must physically scale to match the academic stakes of the generated output. These technical matrices serve one purpose: helping you build an automatic cognitive reflex that protects your professional integrity. You establish this reflex by forcing 3 questions to fire in your head before every prompt. First, what kind of answer is this? Second, based on the trust ladder, how much should I trust it? And third, what would verifying this answer actually look like? Once these 3 questions trigger automatically, you secure yourself against the plausibility trap. You catch the fake citation or the subtle statistical error long before it reaches your syllabus. Mastering this architecture elevates you from an antiquator who occasionally gets burned by AI to a professional who dictates exactly where the edges of the machine actually lie.